Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the third video and the last one in the series Buying a House in the Netherlands. Today we will talk in depth about mortgages or home loans as referred in other parts of the world. Let's start with a fun fact before we move on to the serious business. Have you ever thought where does the word mortgage comes from? Somebody asked on Quora, why is mortgage called a mortgage? Quite an interesting question, I must say. There were a lot of answers to this question, and the most common thing in all of those answers were that this word comes from an old French phrase called dead pledge. So basically, mort meaning dead and gage meaning pledge. Quite a scary word to choose, right? In this video, we will be covering all aspects related to mortgage in the Netherlands, and if you watch till the end, you will probably be ready to apply for one. I have divided the video in 5 different parts. Number 1, types of mortgages. Number 2, NHG. Number 3, valuation. Number 4, process of applying. And number 5, the prices or the total cost of ownership. I am not a mortgage consultant, neither a mortgage expert, but this information comes purely from my own experience and also after doing some research. So without further ado, let's get started. Whenever you take a mortgage, you basically borrow money from the lender, and in this scenario, from a bank with which you make an agreement to repay at a certain frequency and with an agreed amount. There are different kinds of mortgages that the bank offers, but there are two most important ones or common ones that are called annuity mortgage and linear mortgage. Let's try to understand them with an example. Let's assume you have borrowed 100,000 euros from the bank. I wish houses were that cheap. In an annuity mortgage, in the initial years, the interest amount will be more and the redemption or the principal will be less. But as time passes by, the repayment amount will be more and the interest will be less, which means that the tax benefits will also reduce. But the biggest advantage of annuity mortgage is that the monthly amount remains fixed as long as the interest rate is fixed, which could be a good option for someone who wants to pay a fixed amount every month. In a linear mortgage, which is rather simple in nature, the redemption or the principal amount for every month is fixed for the entire term, which means in the initial years the interest will be high, but it will gradually go down as time passes by. So overall you pay less interest in the complete duration. As the repayment amount will reduce, your monthly payment will also come down. So this could be an attractive option for people who want to have some leftover money in the future. In addition to the types of mortgages, you can also choose for a fixed interest mortgage for a duration of 5 to 10 years, which means that the market condition will not affect your mortgage rates. Talking about the interest rates, in a recent article on nos.nl, it was highlighted that the trend of low interest rates seems to be broken as the rates are rising again. As per the information in the article, the average mortgage rates for a 10-year fixed term with NHG is 1.53%, which was as low as 0.98% a year ago. An interesting point to note is that a lot of people are refinancing their loan this year and trying to get a fixed interest mortgage instead of a variable one. In addition to the annuity and linear mortgages, there are a few other types of mortgages that the bank offers which you can look into. I will leave the link in the description box, but annuity and linear are the most popular ones. The NHG is an amazing scheme offered by the Dutch Home Ownership Guaranteed Fund to support the people who are taking mortgage against the circumstances that are beyond one's control. NHG acts as a safety net for the lender and the borrower to manage the situations in the future that could potentially make the borrower incapable of paying the mortgage. It could be due to several reasons like losing a job or some disability because of which you cannot work, etc. When you are applying for a mortgage, you can do a quick eligibility check whether you can get energy supported mortgage or not. In the past few years, the conditions revolving around energy has changed, and in 2022, if your mortgage is up to 355,000 euros, then you can get energy. And if you are planning to do some energy saving measures, then you can get additional 6%, which in 2022 makes the amount equal to 376,300 euros. If your current mortgage is not energy backed, then you can try to refinance it if you meet all the eligibility criteria. With energy, you can also get reduced interest rates, as this amount is considered as safe from the borrower's perspective and also covers the scenario of failure of repayments, so the lenders are willing to offer competitive rates. The charges you have to pay to get an energy supported mortgage is 0.6% of the mortgage amount, which you can also deduct from your taxable income while filing income tax. In 2022, the eligibility for NHG mortgage is 355,000 euros. It can of course change in the future, so you can check their website. In finance, the quantitative process of determining the fair value of an asset is called valuation. In terms of the mortgage application, the valuation report or appraisal report of a house is the most important document for the lender to determine how much is the house worth which you are buying and how much money you can borrow from the bank. If you have hired an advisor, they will help you in arranging the valuation report. The appraiser should have the license to do the appraisal. Normally, the appraiser is located at a certain distance from the property, as the process involves the knowledge of the local real estate market. A few parameters that are checked while preparing the appraisal report are town where the property is located, neighborhood of the property, insulation and energy efficiency regulations, etc. The valuation report is used by the bank while approving your mortgage application and to check whether the market value of the house that you are buying is in line with the purchase price or not. If the valuation of the house is less than the purchase price, then the mortgage will only be given for the valuation amount and the rest of the money you have to pay from your pocket. The cost of doing a valuation or getting a valuation report is between 300 to 800 euros depending on the size of the house and the valuator you choose. While applying for a mortgage, having a mortgage advisor can be very helpful in letting you know that which lender is offering the most competitive rates, taking into account the purchase price, whether you are eligible for energy or not, and to have a discussion in detail about different kind of mortgages and what can suit you personally. Of course, in the end, the decision is yours, but their advice in this matter could prove beneficial. If you were already in contact with the bank in the earlier stages of the process, then you can continue the discussion once the valuation report is ready, as based on that the mortgage application can be initiated. You will need basic documentation like bank statements, employer statements, bonus from employer if any, and salary slips. I remember back in 2020 when I purchased the house, the COVID pandemic had just started and we received a separate questionnaire related to Corona, which may or may not be applicable right now. If all the documents are in right order, the process should be pretty straightforward and it can take 4 to 6 weeks to be completed. This, for me and maybe for most of you, is the most important question. How much money do I need to have or need to save to buy a house in the Netherlands? We have spoken about NHG, bank guarantee, technical inspection, valuation report, and all of these cost some money. So it is important to know that how much savings you should have upfront to pay for all these costs to buy a home in the Netherlands. Let's start with the first one, transfer tax. As a first-time buyer of a house, you have to pay 2% of the purchase price to the government as transfer tax. So if the house is, let's say, 350,000 euros, then you pay 7,000 euros to the government as transfer tax. However, in 2021, the government passed an amazing bill in which the transfer tax was completely removed if you satisfy these three conditions. Number one, if this is your first home that you are buying in the Netherlands. Number 2, your age is between 18 to 35 years. And number 3, your purchase price is less than equal to 400,000 euros. So if you tick all these boxes, then you can already start your hunt because you don't have to pay any transfer tax. The second cost is makelar and mortgage advisor. Assuming that you have hired both of them, the cost can come somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 euros. Bank guarantee, technical inspection, and valuation. As the bank guarantee amount is directly connected to the purchase price, it can vary a little bit, but an approximate cost for all three should be around 1,500 euros. NHG, it is only applicable if your mortgage is up to 355,000 euros. And let's assume that your mortgage is 350,000 euros. So then with 0.6%, the amount comes to be 2,100 euros. Then mortgage deed and delivery deed around 2,000 euros. I have also prepared a simple Excel document for future reference. I will leave the link in the description box so you can check it out. It has all the items and the corresponding approximate cost. Of course, it can vary in the future. Please note that some of these costs can be shown while you are filing your income tax. So you will get some money back from the government depending on your income and your tax bracket. With this, we conclude the 3-part series of buying a house in the Netherlands. If you have not seen part 1 and 2, I will leave the links in the description and you may choose to watch them as they might be helpful in finding your dream house. If you are in the process of buying a house or have just started your hunt, I wish you all good luck. And if you have already bought one, many congratulations to you. If you like this video, then please hit the like button. And if you want to stay connected in 2022, then please hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, the comments box is open and is waiting for you. Until next time, Shashank Mohta signing off.